The Legend of Jimmy Spoon by Kristiana Gregory, Chapter 33, Fall. Jimmy and Nampa walked near the lake where the captured horses grazed. They counted 250. The scouts gave Washaki more figures. 49 Shoshone were killed, nearly 300 wounded. There were 103 dead Crow warriors. They camped at Henry's Lake another 3 weeks, so the injured could recover. Clouds of mosquitoes swarmed among the wounded, biting raw skin. To discharge the insects, the women kept fires smoking with wet sagebrush day and night. They made salves from mint and cedar leaves. By the time they could travel, the air was cold, and the aspen and cottonwoods were turning to golds and yellows. Snow dusted the hills and iced the horns of the Tetons. They divided into small bands again. Now there were many widows, so each hunter had to bring down more game to share with them. Much work was needed before they'd be ready to trade at the Great Salt Lake. Hanabi and Old Mother toiled harder than ever, stretching and scrapping hides and smoking beef strips for Ta'o. Hanabi had a new papoose on her back. Nananagai, a boy, was born 3 days after the battle. They were so heavily loaded that travel was slow. 16 horses were packed with buckskin and Bajono robes. 9 were packed with Ta'o. At the divide, Washaki told Jimmy to stay with the others and watch the horses until his return. Jimmy didn't like this arrangement. He wanted to see his village again. Most of all, he wanted to see his mother. The horror of the scalping had not lessened his love for Old Mother, but it had deepened his yearnings for home. Jimmy thought about his new feeling while Washaki traveled to Salt Lake City. He and Mozo were busy looking after the camp. Elders, women, children, and the wounded. There was much water to haul and wood to gather. The horses needed to be moved to new grass every other day. The more Jimmy thought about his family, the more he helped Hanabi and Old Mother. After Washaki had been gone 3 days, Jimmy and Nampa moved camp downstream to a wide beach that spread into sand hills. The sage chickens were plentiful here, and the wounded Indians could reach the water more easily. Jimmy was happy that fighting days were over. And that's the end of Chapter 33.